Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Today we are going to start the 10th chapter, which is the second chapter of the section 2. Till now we have covered section 1, which was an introduction to Vedanta. The second section is more a technical aspect of Vedanta, a practical application of Vedanta. That's what the topic is called as. And we covered the human composition, the first level or the first chapter of the topic, the section was talking about our personality. So we discussed about our personality is not just the body, mind, intellect, which we covered in the introduction, but now we are trying to understand deeper into the personality and taking the help of the scriptures. So here onwards, the second chapter, we are taking scriptural help to understand the concepts, ideas. So we discussed about the panchakoshas, the 5 sheets which we are made up of. It's a very interesting concept which we discussed, a difference between a physical body and a gross body. Important to understand, to know for understanding purpose. For application purpose may not be that practical, doesn't matter. But when it comes to the fundamental, there are a lot of other concepts which are related. So when we are connecting with the scriptural concept or text, it is important to have the fundamentals clear so that we can connect the dots and we can see the continuity of all the ideas and concepts. They all are making sense. One of the things very interesting about the knowledge of Vedanta is, as we know, it's a science and it's technical knowledge. And not only that, it's like any other science, like physics or mathematics, it does not belong to any particular scientist. So it can be Einstein, it can be Newton. All these great scientists have given their contributions to the science, and all put together, the cumulative knowledge is what we are learning. Some people, they advance the knowledge, they improve the knowledge in case of a worldly knowledge, in case of a technical knowledge with respect to physics and mathematics and chemistry and the rest of it. When it comes to scriptural knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, the continuity, it is given out by different masters in different era. So we are talking about thousands of years, so knowledge which is more than 15 to 20,000 year old knowledge, and given out by different sages and saints, all self-realized masters are talking about it. There's a continuity in the sense of the experience of the reality, but the presentations are different based on the people they are talking to, relating to. And that's why each one is trying to explain in a different way. They do take a common factor, but they explain it in a different, present in a different way. Why I'm mentioning that is the concept of panchakoshas is there in different scriptures. The source can be, in the Upanishad or the Tattva Bodha, or different scriptures are talking about it. But it is the variable can be later on, people started talking about other aspects. Briefly, we discussed about few aspects which people talk about, but it doesn't compromise with the fundamental. The fundamental is the deeper you go in your personality, subtler you go in your personality, better the control you have in your personality. That is the bottom line. So even if you go to the personality chart, if you look into this graph, the bottom line is that if you're at the food sheet, you're gross, everything physical about it. Then pranamaya kosha, the pranas. You're going deeper in your personality, manomaya kosha, which is the mind sheet, mental sheet. Then you're going to the intellectual sheet. Then the bliss sheet. Bliss sheet is the vasanas. And then the self. So this is the sequence. Now, in the sequence, the moment we go subtler, deeper, we have more control. In other words, when you're in the food sheet, you don't have any control. When you're going to the pranas, you have a better control on the body. Then you go to the my mental sheet. You have a better control on the pranas and the body. Then you go into the intellectual sheet. You're operating at the intellectual sheet. You have a control on the mind. You have a control on your pranas, your breathing, and your food sheet. You're healthy. You are disciplined. You are, self-control. You know how much to eat, what to eat. Everything is balanced. There's a normal sense of life. And then you're going deeper, the self. So that is the point of the koshas. And then we discussed about very interesting, which we'll be covering in detail about the gross, subtle, and causal bodies, which is the combination of the other personality. So body, mind, intellect is a general way of talking about it. Then we go into the deeper aspect. Then we say it is not just the body, mind, intellect. These are the panchakoshas. Then we divide these panchakoshas into gross body, subtle body, causal body. The technical way of understanding it. Why do we divide that? Because the next topic was Baker Dreamer Deep Sleeper, which we will be covering in detail in one of the chapter. It is coming up in I think the next to next chapter, where we talk about the states of consciousness. They're the combination of gross, subtle, and causal body. What is the waking state of consciousness? What is the dream state of consciousness? What is the deep sleep state of consciousness? And the fourth state, the turiya, we talk about. So that's where it comes. This we have covered. We covered the overall perspective of the microcosmic level and the macrocosmic level. Today's topic is on self-analysis. So having covered all that about our personality, then we are going deeper and understanding how do you assess ourselves. Self-analysis. Analyze our personality. The entire focus in life is extroverted. In the world, we try to change the world. We want to make the world better. So the mind is always focused in the world. So changing the perspective and becoming better, improving ourselves. That is the whole class, whole topic, the chapter. And by the end, we will talk about the introspection. Introspection is the regular way of a regular exercise which we can practice to develop our existing intellect, which we'll cover in detail. So this is the overall thought flow of this chapter, the self-analysis. We talk about the problem with introversion. We talk about drift in religion. We talk about the self, the supreme reality, and we talk about the topic of inquiry into yourself. The first topic is inquiry into yourself. Yourself is pure consciousness. You are the supreme reality. Spiritual pursuit culminates in the self. You discover yourself by turning introvert through inquiry into yourself. You must gradually wade through the body, mind, and intellect, your gross, subtle, and causal bodies, to reach the divine core of your personality, to gain the bliss of self-realization. But the human tendency is to be extroverted. Instead of seeking the self within, people pursue the external world for pleasure, joy, and knowledge. They get involved in the mundane affairs, and the mind becomes restless, agitated. Intellect loses its clarity to inquire into the essence of life. So our entire life, we get so preoccupied with the world that there is no scope of inquiry. Reality is not external experience, but an internal comprehension. It's becoming. It's not something which you see outside. God is not external. So how do you reach it? How do you reach to your real core, your inner core? Through contemplation, through reflection, through introverted exercises. Turning introvert. Understanding your personality better. So now when the mind is always focused on the world, It gets involved in the world, it gets attached to the world, it gets affected by the world. The intellect has no scope to investigate anything beyond the world because our mind is too preoccupied in the world. So they're saying that the first level of spirituality is to understand the world is there's nothing wrong with the world. World is a beautiful place to be in. And that's the reason a spiritual person never complains about anything in the world. They are okay. There is nothing as good or bad because it's a perspective. How do we say it's a good or bad? It's based on our experiences, right? So a tiger kills a deer. Is it good action or a bad action? It's an action. It happens. It's a natural process. But if we are seeing from the perspective of the tiger, it is a good action. Is eating, killing for its food. Seeing it from the perspective of the deer, it's a bad action. It's getting killed. So good and bad is a perspective. It's not generic. So when we get involved in good and bad in the world, we get into joy and sorrow, we get affected, honor, dishonor. These are the experiences we go through. To that they're saying, turn introvert. World is what it is. Understand, assess the world, and move on. Don't get involved, attached to it. Understand the purpose of the world is to grow out of the world. So with the world, there's nothing wrong. You don't have to run away from the world. It is the mental detachment you gain through knowledge, understanding of life. The divine law of life is that you shall be pure, free from mental agitation and suffering. Your true self is ever peaceful and blissful. But when you stay away from the self and run after the world, you will be inflicted with pain and suffering. So the wind, you reap the wind. The law is unrelenting. Therefore, try to diagnose the cause of agitation and grief. Get to the root of your problems. Go deeper into the inner layers of your personality. You may want to consult the scriptures, take guidance from the preceptors. With all that, you must get on to your own reflection and contemplation. You will then find out there is but one fundamental source for all sorrow, one cause for evil and misery in the world. That is the ignorance of the self. People everywhere have lost the identity of the self. Instead, they have identified themselves with the body, mind, and intellect, become attached to the material equipments and their endless demands, and run after the world to appease them, not realizing that the physical, emotional, and intellectual appetites are insatiable. The unfulfilled desires remain to produce mental agitation and sorrow. Hence, must you leave your infatuation to the body, mind, and intellect, realize you are the kernel, not the shell. Turn introvert and gain the knowledge of the self. You then liberate yourself from all agitation and attain enduring peace and bliss. Moment you turn introvert, there is a sense of peace and bliss. Moment you act extrovertedly, there will be agitation, disturbances. Very interesting. The word happiness has an opposite, unhappiness. The word bliss does not have an opposite. There's nothing like unbliss, no bliss. When we're talking about happiness and unhappiness, we are referring to dependent on the world. The experience which is dependent on the world, we claim it as happiness and unhappiness. When the desires are fulfilled, we are happy. Desires are not fulfilled, we are unhappy. So desires are fulfilled for some time, we get happiness, we feel a sense of joy, sense of goodness, and then it comes back to normal. And then again, we create a desire. Some desires are fulfilled, some desires are not fulfilled. We keep on going to the roller coaster ride, up and down. When they talk about bliss, it is not referring to being dependent on the world. We need to analyze our experiences and understand the happiness we claim, is it dependent on the external world, which we do not have any control on, or it is referring to something beyond the world? If my happiness is dependent on the world, I will be in the roller coaster, because world is made up of pairs of opposites. They'll be good, they'll be bad. It's a part of life, part of the world. So moment there's a good, I get into a high, bad, I get into low. It keeps on going on. What they're saying is, turn your reference internal, turn introvert. Moment you turn introvert, all that external disturbances is no more the criteria for me to be happy, to be blissful. You feel a sense of satisfaction, a sense of contentment, which is not variable. It is slow but sure. It keeps building up, but it doesn't go away with time. That sense of contentment, peace, bliss, it is sustainable. It is long term. That's what they're referring to. So, moment you turn introvert, you feel that sense of peace and bliss. Since we are so attached to our body, mind, and intellect, our natural tendency is to get involved in the affairs of the body, mind, intellect, the desires of the body, mind, intellect, and that creates further unfulfilled desires, which creates agitation, sorrow, and suffering. To that, they're saying, disconnect from the body, mind, and intellect and operate. Turn inwards. Disconnect from the desires of the body, mind, intellect, because it is endless. There is no way we can satisfy ourselves at the physical level, at the emotional level, at the intellectual level. It's not possible. So then, why is it so? Because you are the infinite. And you can never find that infinite happiness, peace, bliss in the finite world. So the finite experiences, the finite pursuits are not going to give us that infinite reality. And because of that, we are never content in the world. We can have everything, still discontent in the world, because that was never the criteria. It is to only when you turn within yourself that you can experience, or you are proceeding towards the infinite bliss, which is your true self, your true identity. You are the self. That's what he's saying. Realize you are the kernel, not the shell. You are the core. That is your real personality, real identity, not the external factors. Body, mind, intellect is just external. Body is made of 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, earth. How do you know? When the body dies, first the heat goes. It becomes cold. Then the air goes. First the air goes, then the heat goes. Then the water oozes out. Then the space goes. So all, and then you merge with the earth. Space, air, fire, water, earth. All 5 elements goes away once the body is dead. The subtle body is made of the subtler aspect of the 5 elements. It's still made of matter, still made of elements, but in the subtler aspect. That's why it sustains. It doesn't go when the body dies. It sustains for some time. Some time is lifetime. But it also disappears. It also changes form. It is not permanent. So what is the permanent factor in us? The core, the essence, the pure consciousness alone is the permanent factor in all of us. So they're saying, when you realize your kernel, you're not the shell, turn introvert and gain the knowledge of the self, you then liberate yourself from the agitations and attain enduring peace and bliss. So all the problem we are facing is because of wrong identity, ignorance of the self. Since we believe ourselves to be this individuality made of the body, mind, and intellect, the wrong identity we claim for ourselves, that creates the agony, agitation. The ignorance of the reality, ignorance of my real nature creates the agitation. I identify with the body, mind, intellect. Moment I recognize my true identity, I don't get influenced by this assumed identity. I don't get affected by the world. So that's what he's saying. The ignorance of the self is the cause for all the misery in the world. So people have lost the identity of the self. So moment you gain your true identity, you are able to relate to the world properly. The example is of an actor in a stage. An actor is playing a role. It can be as a king, it can be as a prince, it can be as a warrior. He has a different role. Now, the while playing that role, the character, that actor, he understands that is just a role. Shakespeare, all the world is a stage. All men and women are merely players, have an exit and entrance. So you understand that all the world is just a stage. All we are acting throughout our life as a son, as a daughter, as a mother, uh, uh, as a wife, we have different roles to play. Playing the role is not a problem. We get involved in the role. That is a problem. And we suffer. So they're saying that play the role, keeping your real identity that I am not this character. This is just a role I'm playing. At a moment, I am playing a particular role. When I do not keep my real identity clear, understand my real identity, I get involved in the roles. An actor in the stage is able to perform without getting affected by whatever happens to the character on the stage. How is it possible? Because he is holding on to his true identity. His true identity is not the actor, the character he's playing on the stage. Is something beyond it. He knows his true identity. Similarly, what they're saying is, moment the lack of knowledge of our true identity, we get involved and attached, suffer on the stage, activity of the stage. Moment you hold on to your real identity, all the roles you are able to play perfectly because you never get involved in any of the particular roles. So you then liberate yourself from all agitations and attain enduring peace and bliss. Yourself is the theme of all religions. Preceptors and preachings cannot help you find it unless you inquire into yourself. External sources of knowledge can only set you thinking, but you must make good use of the scriptural knowledge by engaging your intellect to reflect independently upon the truths therein. Do not sell your liberty of reflection to spiritual personalities, regardless of their merit. Very important point. Do not sell your liberty of reflection to spiritual personalities, regardless of their merit. You must seek the truth yourself. The Godhead lies within you. Remove the veil of ignorance and revel in the supreme bliss that lies within. Not realizing your inherent wealth, you try to weigh in vain to find peace and joy in the external world. So the American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson rightly quipped, every man is divinity in disguise, a god playing the fool. So the core essence of the knowledge of all religion is to give us the understanding of the reality. Christ says, it's not me, it's Father in the heaven. He is the ultimate. I'm just passing the knowledge. Prophet Muhammad says, it's not me, it's Allah. Allah is the ultimate. I'm the messenger. We say Bhagwan. There is no birth or death for Bhagwan. There is no birth or death for Allah. There is no birth or death for Father in heaven. All religions are talking about that unknown reality. We call it God, Allah, Vaheguru, Bhagwan, whatever we want to call it as, it is something unknown. God is not an answer. God is a proposition which we need to find what it is for ourselves. Don't sell your reflection to others. You must seek the truth yourself. Remove the veil of ignorance and revel in the supreme bliss that lies within. Do not sell your liberty of reflection to spiritual personalities. So, no teacher, no textbook, no master can help us. We have to help ourselves. They are only giving us information, they are only giving us knowledge. So the core of all religion is the self, is that reality. We call it Atman, Brahman in Vedanta, God, Allah, Vaheguru, Bhagwan, whatever we want to call it as. That is the essence of all religion. Purpose of all religion is to train us, teach us, guide us towards the reality. And we need to use the scriptures and think about it ourselves. You can't delegate reflection to others. So we have to make use of the knowledge, information, and understand what are these masters trying to tell us? What is the scripture trying to guide us to? Instead of holding on to the scripture, to the master, to the teacher, to the knowledge, we need to move in that direction. My teacher is the best. When we are holding on, it's like they are like signposts. When we hold on to the signpost, we don't reach any destination. So we can't say one signpost is good, other signpost is not good. Doesn't matter. Because end of the day, the purpose of signpost is only to give direction. So as long as we keep on moving in the direction, we keep on performing, acting, we follow the rules, we follow the guidance of these masters, we are on the right track. It is the direction which is important in life, not the speed. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but as long as our mindset is right, we are thinking in the right way, we are being progressive, trying to become better, we are in the right track. So that is what he's talking about. Every man is a divinity in disguise, God playing the fool. You are that reality. God is playing out some fool with desires, with the individuality, and we get involved in that. Religious books and discourse on their own cannot bring about spiritual development in you. The knowledge contained in the scripture can make you a well-informed person. But for spiritual transformation, you need to put in considerable effort in reflection and contemplation upon the knowledge received. Lectures from masters will be of no avail unless you are prepared to lecture yourself. Lord Krishna pronounces this truth in his off-quote words, you must raise yourself by yourself. Uddharet atmanam atmanam avasadayet. Lord Krishna says, raise yourself by yourself. Don't wait for somebody to come and raise you. It's not going to happen. We need to raise ourselves by ourselves. We need to understand, you come alone, you go alone. Your spiritual journey is very personal, very subjective. Your partner will not follow you. Your children will not follow you. Their journey is independent. Yes, we have obligations, we have responsibilities, we do whatever can be done, but that should not stop our spiritual evolution. Each one of us are best placed for our evolution. We need to use the opportunity and keep on progressing, growing in life. Turn introvert. Keep moving. Yourself is supreme reality. The problem facing humanity today is that none wants to look within. People are enchanted by the fascinations of the external world. They do not find the need to go introvert. Vedanta cautions them that there is no peace and happiness in the sense objects or beings or anything that the world can offer. They claim that their personal experiences belies this statement and dismiss the caution as baseless. The intelligentsia argue their sense organs enjoy the sense objects, that their eyes gain pleasure from sight, ear from sound, nose, smell, tongue, taste, skin, touch. So does the mind contact and experience joy, emotion, intellect revel in acquiring knowledge of the world. Their argument seems tenable. They are convinced that they perceive the pleasure and joy in the world and personally experience it. Nevertheless, Vedanta maintains that there is no pleasure or peace in the world. It bids you examine your conviction closely. You will then find the truth of its statement. So, Samji here gives next paragraph, he gives an example of the moonlight example, very popular example from the scripture. Now, we are smart. They are saying the self is within you, is the source of happiness, joy, satisfaction, whatever we want to call it as, source of knowledge. Our experience is something different. We want to go by our experience. What is our experience? When the body, the sense object, sense organs contact the sense object, there is a sense of satisfaction, happiness. When the mind contacts the world, there is a sense of peace, happiness. When the intellect contacts the world, there is a sense of excitement, entertainment, happiness. How do we say that happiness is not in the world? But Vedanta holds the truth. And they say there is no joy and happiness inherent in the world. The statement made by the masters, there is no joy and happiness in the world. But we are experiencing something different. We are smart, smarter than the masters. To that they're saying, is it so? Find out for yourself. What are you claiming? You say that the world is giving you joy and sorrow. If it was so, everybody will have the same experience. But some people, same world experiences joy. Some people, same world experiences sorrow. We have done it before. Cigarette being the same, gives joy to one, sorrow to another. How is it possible? If the world inherent, the happiness was inherent in the cigarette, everybody contacting will have the same experience. One lady, other person is contacting all the contacts he has to make sure to get rid of this lady. There's another person who wants to get married to the same lady. Lady being the same, gives agony to one, ecstasy to another. How is it possible? If happiness, joy was inherent in the lady, in the being, then everybody contacting will have the same experience, which is not so. Analyze our experience. Just because we believe there is a joy coming directly from the world, is it really coming from the world? And that's when the moonlight example comes in. He says, the error in the conviction of the intelligentsia is akin to professing that the moon has light in it. On the moonlit night, you see the light emerging from the moon. A full moon, a 384,400 kilometers away, shedding its brilliant light over the earth. You use it to find your way. You enjoy the moonlight. By virtue of your experience, you aver there is light in the moon. And yet, you will appreciate the moon has no light in it. It has only arid land and dust. You would know that when you approach it, when you reach it. The light that you see from afar is reflected light. The moon merely reflects the light of the sun. Is there light in the moon? No. We know it. How do we know it? When we reached out, when we approached the moon, we found it is just arid land. There is nothing there. But we see it, we experience it directly. We see a light coming. We are guided by that light. How are we making a mistake? How can we make a mistake? Because that light, yes, it is coming through the moon, but it is a reflected light of the sun coming through the moon. Moon per se does not have any light. Similarly, the world has no happiness inherent in it. The pleasure and joy you seem to get out of the world is a reflection of the bliss of yourself. The self in you is all blissful. The supreme bliss is reflected the world over in every object and being, in every perception, emotion, and thought. You see pseudo bliss and run after it. When you get close and actually encounter it, you become disillusioned. No wonder the wealthy confess that there is no peace and happiness in wealth. The powerful with all the power also find themselves duped and disappointed. So it is with all worldly acquisition and enjoyment. Therefore, the way to ride over the monotony and misery of the world to find everlasting peace and happiness is to pursue and reach the source, discover the self within you, the nucleus of true happiness. They're saying that there is no joy, there is no light in the moon, there is no joy in the world, but the experience we are having is the reflected happiness, joy, peace from the self, which we cannot understand unless we reach the self. So these masters are talking from their experience and they're saying that yes, what you're saying, what you're claiming is right. You seem to have derived happiness, joy from the world. Your claim is right. But there is a deeper understanding. When you go deep, you will understand it is not directly coming from it. It is not there inherent in it. How you relate to the world, that makes it good or bad. Right? So if it was happiness there, everybody will have the same experience. Our happiness, even the same person, her happiness keeps on varying up and down. It is not constant because our mind keeps varying. Our likes and dislikes keeps varying. Our preferences keeps varying. So because of that, our experiences keeps changing in the world. And we believe the world is the factor. Whereas they say it is not the world. It is the way we relate to the world, connect with the world. Very interesting analogy. A prince approached a sage reverentially to learn all about God. A conversation ensued. Prince, venerable master, who is God? Where is he? How can I reach him? Sage, may I know who you are? Prince, my name is Gajapati. Sage, I appreciate that is your name. But tell me who you are. Prince, I'm a prince. Sage, is that not your status? Prince, yes, it is. I guess I'm just a human being. Sage, you say you're a human, not a bird or a beast, but that is the species to which you belong. You have not yet told me who you are. The prince then realized that he was going round in circles and did not really know who he was. So, with all humility, he spoke again. Prince, am I then this body, mind, and intellect which define my person? Sage, nay, not so. They are your material equipments. They too belong to you. The answer left the prince bewildered, and he submitted himself to the master. Prince, sir, I now reckon that I do not know myself. Kindly let me know who am I, and how does that relate to my inquiry of God? Sage, dear prince, you are the supreme self, the divine core of your person. The body, mind, and intellect are mere vestures enveloping yourself. The self is known as Atman in Sanskrit, God in English. You will have to find the self within through introspection, through study, reflection, and meditation. So the prince comes to the sage and he is adamant, he is out of his ego, he says, ask the question to the sage, who am I? Tell me who's God. Where is he? So When he keeps on questioning, he comes to realize that he doesn't know who is he. And to that, the sage says that he is God. He is the reality. Whatever we assume externally is just something which is not our real identity. Body, mind, intellect is changing. That can't be real. Anything real has to be constant. When we are dealing with variables, that can be real. Reality, the definition of reality is it exists at all times. When you say something as real, it simply means that it exists at all times. All our experiences does not live up to the definition of reality. The world exists only during the waking state of consciousness, only now. When we go to sleep, the world does not exist for us. The dream exists only till the dream is there for the dreamer. Deep sleep exists only for the deep sleeper. So there is relative reality, yes, all agreed, but you can't say this is an absolute reality. It is real only for some time. So they say that the core of your personality, that pure consciousness is the reality observing through the variable, the changes, and being able to being conscious of it. That is real. So you are the supreme self, the divine core of your personality. The body, mind, intellect are just vestures enveloping the self. You will have to find the self within through introspection. Being introverted through study, reflection, and meditation, you get it. You get it within you, you get it externally outside. The government of the country exists throughout the country. To contact the government, you can't go to wilderness. You have to go to the capital, Delhi. To contact the self, you have to go within you. God exists everywhere. But once you know the reality within you, you know the reality outside of you. Once you know the water in the drop, in the wave, in the ocean, you know it everywhere. So the water, the all is made of water. Entire ocean is made of just water. Once you get it in one drop, you get it in the entire ocean. You understand it is all pervading. It's there around you. Similarly, we need to go introvert to find the real self. Vedanta helps reveal the supreme self in you. You then realize your infinite being, that which keeps you performing countless deeds. You move your every muscle in the body. You cause each hair to grow. You eat, you produce the digestive juices in the stomach. You digest the food taken in. You distribute the digested food in every part of the body. You evacuate the waste. You operate the nerves. You feel emotions. You think various thoughts. These go on and on all your life. God is therefore the primal source of all activity. The supreme self assumes the three forms of waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. The infinite power that operates in your personality is the same. That operates everywhere. That enlivens the entire animal and plant world as well. The self same power that causes the sun to shine, earth to revolve, rivers to flow. That supreme power is known as Atman in the microcosm, Brahman in the macrocosm. Atman and Brahman are one and the same reality that is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God, your divine self. So, he's saying the reality is same, is one in one, all of us. It expresses differently. So we refer to the reality expressing through the individuality as Atman, the reality expressing through the world, the creation as Brahman. Just a word. It doesn't change the reality. In other words, Atma is not is different from Brahman. It's part of Brahman. How do you understand that? We have room space, we have lounge space, we have open space. Space is one. We divide it and we call it a room space. Space is one. So we can have different reference point, but we're referring to the same reality based on the expression. We'll just quickly go through the summarizing what we have covered. So this is where we discussed the inquiry into ourself. The first topic, if you remember, we discussed today was inquiry into ourself. That is talking about the summary of core. So you are the true self. The extroverted tendencies we have that results in agitation. So diagnose the cause of agitation, which is the ignorance of the self, break the false attachments, recognize the insatiable desire, which is a problem, independent effort and awakening. So you're putting that effort to raise yourself by yourself. You're turning introvert. So go deeper into a personality. That's what the first topic we did was talking about. Then the next topic we did was, if you remember, then we discussed about your supreme self. And there we talked about the moonlight example and the prince example. So the moonlight example, so humanity misplaced the pursuit. So we keep on chasing the world, believing the happiness is there in the world. Humanity avoids introspection, enchanted by the external world. People dismiss Vedanta's warning, no true peace in objects. Argument, sense experiences bring happiness in the world. We are disillusioned with wealth and power follows worldly acquisition. Solution, discover the self within, the all blissful source of true happiness. And we did the moonlight example, where we said that the light seems to be coming from the moon, but it is actually an arid land and dust. So it is a reflected light of the sun from the moon. That's what you're saying. So the worldly objects appears a source of joy, but they don't have joy in them inherent. The bliss is reflecting everywhere. The truth world has no inherent happiness. Inner self is all blissful. A disillusioned, wealthy, and powerful people. So we get carried away by the world. The path to lasting peace, discover the inner self, pursue the source, not the reflection. Find the peace within you. That's what they were talking about. That's what we said here till here. Then the prince example. The prince says, who is God? The sage, who are you? So they started inquiring and going deeper, and he started finding out that it is not the external experiences, it is not the body, mind, and intellect, but he is something beyond it. So the microcosm, the macrocosm, the Atman and Brahman, all are one. They're same, one and all. They don't change. We'll conclude here.